Chapter 10, Lesson 4 is surface area of triangular prisms. Now remember, the triangular prism was like the Toblerone box, right? So here it says Raj and his dad are building a ramp to move his dirt bike onto a trailer. It says fill in the table by drawing the sides of the ramp and naming the shape of each face. So if I'm looking at this front piece right here, what shape is that? That is a triangle. Very good. So that's what it looks like, and that is a triangle. Okay? The back, of course, is exactly the same, isn't it? See that back right back there? That's going to be the same as the front. So there, triangle and triangle. And remember, prisms have two congruent parallel bases. So here, these are congruent. The two triangles are congruent. They're also parallel. So on this prism, those are the bases. Okay? The top piece right up here, what shape is that? A rectangle. Very good. So that's what it looks like. And that is a rectangle. How about the bottom piece? Same thing. Very good. That is a rectangle. And the side back there? That is also a rectangle. It's a little smaller, right? There you go. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to identify the shapes of the faces of a prism, and then we are going to find the area of those faces. When we add them together, that's going to give us the total surface area of the triangular prism. All right, so the surface area of a triangular prism. Now this is a triangular prism. The surface area of a triangular prism is the sum of the areas of the two triangular bases and the three rectangular faces. Okay, this piece right here is what it looks like when it is exploded out. I believe they call that a net view. Okay, a triangular prism is a prism that has triangular bases. When the bases are equilateral triangles, the areas of the three rectangular faces are equal. You can use a net to find the surface area of a triangular prism. So that this over here, when they open up the figure, is called a net. All right, in the first example, example 1, it says find the surface area of the triangular prism. Now to find the surface area of this triangular prism, you want to find the area of each of the faces and add them. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to find the area of each triangular base. The formula is 1/2 base times height. So 1/2 times the base, which is 1, times the height, which is 9/10. You multiply that to get 0.45. Now remember, you have two of them, right? So that 0.45, you have to add twice or multiply times 2. Very good. Then you can find the area of each of the rectangular bases. Since they are, this triangle is an equilateral triangle, that means that all of the faces will be the same. So 2 plus 2 plus 2. Now we add them all together, add all the faces together to get the total surface area of the triangular prism. Is everybody clear? All right, so in this first got it problem, it says find the surface area of the triangular prism. So the first thing we want to do is look at our bases. If you look, our bases are what kind of shape? Triangles. One here and one there. So we have two triangular bases. Okay? So the bases, the formula for the base is 1/2 base times height, right? But because we have two bases, we're going to multiply times 2. Does everybody see that? So there's our formula. We have two bases with the formula 1/2 base times height. And now we're going to substitute what we know. All right. So we're going to multiply 2 times 1/2 times the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 5.2. Very good. So there's my substitution, and now I'm going to simplify before I multiply. Okay? So you can see that here I have a 2 on the top and a 2 on the bottom. Can I simplify those? Or I can simplify the 2 and the, let's do this 2 and the 6. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. And now we can multiply 2 times 1 times 3 times 5.2, all divided by 1. Okay? So let's clean this up a bit. So we've got 2 times 3, which is 6, times 5.2. Anything else that we need to put in there? It's all over 1. So do I have to write the over 1? We end up with 31.2. Now that, and it's centimeters squared. So now we want to look at the bases, okay? So let's take a look at this piece. What shape is that?
Rectangle.
That is a rectangle. Very good. So that front face, I'm going to call it a face, is a rectangle, and the formula is area is equal to base times height. So now I'm going to look at the figure out over here. Let's pull that out again. And what is the base going to be of this rectangle? 7. And what is the height of this rectangle going to be? 6. Very good. That 5.2 is on the triangle, right? So now we substitute what we know. So the base we said was 7, and the height was 6. So that is 42 centimeters squared. Okay? All right. So now let's see, what are we going to look at next? Let's look at that piece right there. Okay? That is the, okay. So that is the back face. So what is the shape of this? This is a rectangle also, right? So the formula for the back face is area is equal to base times height. So what's the base going to be? And the height is? 6. Very good. Okay, let's put that away. And then substitute in what we know. So we have 7 times 6 again, which is equal to 42 centimeters squared. Good. And then finally, we have this bottom piece. Okay, you see that bottom piece? What shape is that? That is also a rectangle. So the bottom face is also base times height. Now, let's put that back out there. So what is the base of the bottom piece? That would be 7, and the height would be 6. Very good. So, does it matter? Could I do it 6 and 7? No, it doesn't matter. So 7 times 6, again, that's going to give me 42 centimeters squared. All right. So now to get the total surface area, let's write this as surface area, SA, is equal to, what are we adding? Right, so we're going to add the two bases, which is 31.2, and then the three faces. And just like you said, could I just do 42 times 3? Yeah. So let's do 42 times 3. Okay? So now we can simplify. So we've got 31.2 times, that's going to be 126. Very good. All right, so mistake here. Good catch, Skylar. So here, we're adding, right? So let me just move this over there. And we're adding, right? So it's going to be plus. And I want to show plus in here also, right? So I want to show plus in there also. So it's 31.2 plus the sum of the other three bases. Very good. So now, all right. So our total surface area is 157.2. And what are my units going to be? Centimeters squared. Very good. Because we're looking at surface area, right? It's surface area, so it's centimeters squared. So, surface area of other triangular prisms. Well, they're all still going to be the same process. You can also find the surface area of any triangular prism by adding the areas of all the sides of the prisms using an orthogonal drawing. And that's the same thing as what we just did on our warm-up where we drew each piece. Okay? So here, it says find the surface area of the triangular prism. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the two bases. You see, there's a base, triangular base here, and a triangular base there. The formula for the triangular base is 1/2 base times height. We have two of them, so we're going to multiply times 2. Is everybody with me? Okay. And then you're going to find the area of the bottom face. Okay, see that's the bottom face down there, and it's 15 by 20, and you can see that here, 15 by 20. You have the top face up here, so that's going to be a 17 by 20. And then you have that back face back there, and that's 8 by 20. You see? And then you just do your calculations just like we did in the first example, and then add them all together. All right, so we want to find the surface area of each triangular prism. Okay, so we have the area of the bases, which are triangles. The formula is 1/2 base times height. And again, because we have two bases, that's why we're multiplying times 2. Does everybody see that? Yeah. All right, so now we can substitute in what we know. So for the triangular bases, we've got base times height, divide 1/2 base times height, and there's 2 of them. So it's 2 times 1/2 times the base, which is 4, and the height is 5.7. So we've got 4 times 5.7. Okay? So now we can simplify that. So we can simplify the 2 and the 4. So that's going to be 1 here. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. And now we can multiply what we know. So we've got 2 times 2, which is 4, times the 5.7. So we've got 22.8. And of course, you know what? I'm going to put my units at the end, okay? So 22.8, and that's meters squared. And now I can find the area of this bottom face. That's a rectangle, so that's base times height. So the base is 4 times 8.6. 4 times 8.6. All right, so that's going to be 34.4. Okay, and now we want to find the area of this front face. So that's this front face right here. Okay, and that's a rectangle, and that's going to be base is 8.6 and the height is 5.7. Very good. So we've got 8.6 times 5.7. All right, so we have 49.02, and that's meters squared. And then we're going to look at this back rectangle. So that's going to be the base, which is going to be what? Same as this, right? So that's 8.6 times the height, which is 7. You see that? It's this one right here. All right, so that's going to be 8.6 times 7. Okay. All right, so this is going to be 60.2. Very good. Me too.
Yeah, that was so fun.
All right, we're not finished yet. So now, so now that we have all of the faces, now we can add them all together, right? So that's going to give us the total surface area. So we're going to write surface area is equal to 22.8 plus 34.4 plus 49.02, and I'll clean this up for the printed notes, plus 60.2. And now we're just going to add all of those together. Oh, all right, so this is going to be 166.42, and what are my units? Meters squared. Did it tell us to round to anything?
Nope. You should.
Nope. All right, so that is the exact answer, 166.42 meters squared. So example 3 says, a bakery boxes pastries in triangular prism boxes as shown right over here. Find the amount of cardboard used to make the pastry box. So when we're using the amount of cardboard, of course, that's going to be surface area. So here, what they did was they made the net version. They just exploded it out. And then you can see you've got two bases, which are triangles, right? So that's 1/2 base times height, times 2 of them. And we've got the flaps over here. Those flaps are rectangles, so that's base times height. And if you look, they're exactly the same, right? So that's why we multiplied times 2. You with me? Okay. And then we've got that center panel right there in the middle, which is also a rectangle. There's only one of them that size, so it's base times height. So those are the formulas. Now to find your surface area, you can substitute what you know. So we have 2 times the quantity of 1/2 times 7 times 12, and we get those from here. The 7 is right there. Let me point to it with a pen. The 7 is right there, and the 12 is the height of the triangle. We simplify that to 84. Then for the flaps, those are just rectangles, so that's 12.5 times 1, and there's 2 of them, so that's 25. And then the center panel is 7, and then up here is 1, so that's going to be 7 times 1, which is 7. And then you add them together to get your total surface area, and what are my units going to be here? What are my units going to be?
Inches squared.
Very good. Inches squared. For example C, okay, I'm coming back at the end of the recording to do example C. So here we have another triangular prism. Okay, we have 2 congruent parallel bases. So here, this triangle is one of the bases, and then we've got another triangle at the back there. So the bases, the formula for the area of the triangle is 1/2 base times height. And again, we're multiplying by 2 because we have 2 of them. Okay? So now we're going to substitute what we know. So when we substitute what we know, we've got 2 times 1/2 times the base of this triangle is 5, bless you, times the height of this triangle, which is 2. And now we substitute it in. Now we can simplify. So here's a 2 on top, a 2 on bottom. Can I cancel those to 1s? Yes. So this cancels to 1. This cancels to 1. And now what's left is just 5 times 2, which is equal to 10. Very good. So that's going to be 10 feet squared. I'll write the units at the end. For the bottom piece right here, that shape is a rectangle. And the base, the formula for the area of a rectangle is base times height. So base is 5 and height is 4. So we've got 5 times 4, which is equal to 20. So that's 20 feet squared. All right, so now we have this top face. The top face right here is also a rectangle, which is base times height. So we're going to multiply the base, which is 5.4, times the height, which is 4. Good. So that's 5.4 times 4. So this is going to be, what was it? 21.6. And that's again going to be feet squared. All right, so now we have this back face back there, which is also a rectangle. So it's going to be base times height. So the base is 4 and the height is 2. Very good. So we have 4 times 2, and that's of course going to give me 8. 8 feet squared. So now, to find our total surface area, we're going to add all of the face areas together. So we're going to call it SA for surface area. And that's going to be 10 plus 20 plus 21.6 plus 8. All right, so our total surface area is 59.6, what are my units? Feet squared. Because of the fact that we are finding surface area, it's units squared. All right, so a bakery boxes pastries in a triangular prism box, as shown over here. Find the amount of the cardboard used to make the pastry box.